Thanks to the support as a channel member, Aaron Gaming. Oh, we came dangerously close to having to sell Pedro Luis in the January transfer window. We agreed a price with him of £140 million because he really wanted to go to Bayern Munich. And then they offered 110 million up front and 30 million on installments. I decided that wasn't the 140 million I'd agreed with Pedro Luis, turned it down. He got a grumpy on. I thought disaster had struck, offered him back out to Bayern Munich for 140 flat. They said no. He got in more of a mood. And then I sent Hoyenhallen to sort him out, and he's now happy to stay at the club and has signed a new 4-year contract. Operation Win the Champions League continues. Hoyenhall has just become even more of a legend of the save. He's saved Pedro Luis. Hello and welcome to Club 4, part 39 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a Premier League game against Liverpool and a Champions League first knockout round, first leg game away against Benfica. Since you were last with me, in addition to the Pedro Luis story, which, just to click on Dynamics and confirm, as you can see, he is no longer unhappy. And both he, Delgado, no, not Delgado, him and Schultz have both signed new long-term deals with the club. So the big three are tied down long-term. We've also given Tammy Abraham a new contract, and I feel like I might have made a mistake because we've given him a new contract that currently has him as a player and under-18s coach because he's retiring at the end of the season. He won't reconsider his retirement, so I've got him tied down to be an under-18s coach. He's not very good. But, you know, he's got potential to get better. He's doing his coaching badges. The only problem is I didn't realise this until after I'd done it. I've given him a 2-year deal on £110,000 a week. He is going to be the highest paid under-18s coach in world football unless we get to renegotiate the contract when he retires as a player. I don't really know how it works. I don't remember doing it this way before. Usually I wait for them to retire and then give them the coach contract. This is what I get for getting too far ahead of myself. Mistakes have been made here, boys and girls, but fingers crossed we'll win the Champions League this year and someone else can then deal with those mistakes because we are still keeping an eye on Dortmund as a potential next job. They're 5th in the Bundesliga. Brendan Rodgers is still under pressure. I am convinced if they fail to get in the Champions League this year, he gets fired this summer, and then I can swoop in as Champions League winner to finish the story back in Germany. The way we all want it to end. It's certainly how I want it to end. But this has been our form. Generally good. We did get knocked out of the EFL Cup in the semi-final, but it was the reserves. We beat Manchester United once with the reserves. Then the reserves lost in the second leg. We are still in the FA Cup, though, plugging away in that. And the Premier League table looks like this. We're 4 points clear of Manchester City. West Ham are still involved, inexplicably. We are very much having a changing of the guard at the moment, I think, with that top 4 containing Norwich and West Ham, whereas Liverpool, Manchester United really starting to tumble down the league. Tottenham down in the bottom half of the table as well. We've got Southampton and Aston Villa as top 7 clubs. At Fulham in the top 10. Sheffield United in the top 10. Things are changing. Parshan even in the relegation zone. It's all gone crazy. But we would like to retain our league title, win the Champions League, and then move on. That is the goal now. And of course, to achieve the goal, we do need to win the Champions League, which means we need to beat a Benfica. Now, that's very difficult to say. Don't try saying that at home. Dangerous. So we're going with Hoyenhall in goal, a back four of Aranua, Moura, Fernandez and Paviot. Navarro at the base of the midfield, Shepherd and Tipple ahead of him, then Schultz in behind Pedro Luis and Delgado. There is Pedro Luis with his new long-term 4-year contract. It's a beautiful thing to see. It means we're safe from having anybody trying to prize him away from us, at least until the end of this season. And I think it's now or never, it feels like, with this Norwich team. We've got £100 million of transfer debt, which, I mean, it's serviceable. We are paying it back. We're doing okay. The board gave me £12 million of extra transfer budget to spend in January. And I just converted it all to wage budget to do those pay rises for Schultz and Pedro Luis. But so the board aren't worried financially, certainly not as worried as some of you rascals are. So I think we're going to be okay. But I just feel like this is the time. I don't know how long this special team stays together because the board are showing no ambition for building a new stadium or really establishing ourselves as a top club. And I think the story, unfortunately, will end with a Champions League win, which is not unfortunate, but then me leaving and the players leaving, and Norwich will just drift back down where they came from, and it'll be like we were never here. It just feels like one of those. You get that from time to time in Football Manager. It doesn't feel like we're building a project here. We've not changed anything off the pitch, and that's a shame. What's also a shame is that we're 0-0 at half-time against Liverpool. In my head, we were playing Benfica first, so kind of glad we're... Oh, God, this is the league game against Liverpool. I noticed by half-time, just as they scored, I did notice before they scored. So there is that. I did notice before they scored. Yikes. And the goal's been awarded as well. It's all going wrong. Aaron injured. That's not ideal looking ahead for the Benfica game that's going to be happening shortly. And we'll take him off immediately to protect him. So Mura can go out to left back. Fernandez can swap over there. Noel can come on. My fairly typical substitution if we ever have to make a change at left back. We're going to demand more. We've just talked about how Liverpool are rubbish now, although a win here does put them back into the top 7, which does paint a slightly different version of events to the one I was just trying to push on you all. But this is a problem. Liverpool are a team who haven't really been competitive for a number of years now. We should be beating them. Like I said before, we beat Manchester United with our reserves recently, and they had their full first team out, the Makoko and whoever else attack. So, they were properly going for it, and we had the reserves out and still beat them. We had Gilberto Carlos up front. So we are a very good team. I just hope we're not getting distracted by this fairy tale story that I'm telling you and the players that we're going to go and win the Champions League this year. When Paviot's the one on the ball. When Pedro Luis was having his head turned by Bayern Munich, he said the reason he wanted to go was to win the Champions League. I didn't even have the option to tell him we'd win it here. That's how unlikely the game thinks it is. But I just feel like it's one of those seasons. Everything's been going right, unless it's about to go wrong. But ultimately, if you can win the Premier League twice in a row, which we're on course to do, you should be winning the Champions League, because usually the Champions League is easier to win than the Premier League, both in game and in real life. Hello, Chelsea. How you doing? Let's make some changes. I'm not bringing Tammy Abraham on. Oh, we brought Garza back from his loan. That's the one other thing that's gone on, I guess. Gilberto Carlos has got a long-term injury, which is not ideal. I think we'll put Shepherd in there. And we will bring Tammy on to play alongside Delgado, just to give us that extra aerial threat. You never know, from a set piece or something, anything. Come on, boys. We're better than what we're showing here. We're certainly better than Liverpool. Let's get out there and prove it this afternoon. It is Liverpool on the attack again, though. It probably doesn't help that I spent the first 45 minutes telling them to beat Benfica. They were probably very confused. And I have to take a small part of the responsibility for that. Only a very small part, though. Noel with the headed clearance, but unfortunately there's nobody there to clean things up and start a counter-attack, and it comes back in again, and now they've hit the crossbar, and considering we're the team that's supposed to be chasing the game and getting an equaliser, the ball's at the wrong end of the pitch. I don't know how else to put it. The ball is at the wrong end of the pitch. I don't know if the players have realised, but if we could get the ball at the other end and score a goal, that'd be terrific. We'd like that. We're not even creating chances. This is not like us at all. This is one of the worst performances we've put in this season. And it is very badly timed when I've just been sat here for 10 minutes telling you we're going to win the Champions League. What is going on? This is not on the script for today. Somebody kick a power cable. Oh, I've accidentally kicked the power cable. We better replay it then. The RNG's turned against me. We need to restart the game. We're not going to, because we're not cowards. But if I was playing off camera on a private save, full well, I'd still let this result stand, because I'm not crazy. I would be restarting the game before the next match, because that's such a weird turn of form. And we do see this sometimes before big Champions League games. I just don't see that for us, Benfica is a big Champions League game, but there's your typical just before a Champions League match wobble. A draw against Watford and a defeat against Liverpool. Now we'll go and stuff Benfica. Football Manager's a strange game. Right, we really are playing Benfica this time. So with Erenua taking that knock in the last game, Noel does come into the team, Mura going over to left back. So we start with the back four that ended the last game. We're also bringing Janusek back in. I don't know why I've put him that way around. Tipple can be there and Janusek on that side. Although Janusek has played over here a lot recently. We had a bit of an injury to Navarro and there were a few games where we were playing Tipple as our holding midfield player. There you go. I mean, it was literally just a couple of games. He didn't do too bad. It's something I'm toying with for the future because he can actually tackle, which is nice. Certainly as he gets older, maybe we start to, or if Griffin Diaz really does push on, Tipple could maybe drop back there, but I just miss those bursts into the penalty area too much at the moment. And we need a burst today. Facing Benfica, away from home. As we know, because we've checked many times, no away goals in the Champions League anymore. But we still want to put on a good performance. We still don't want to lose away from home. After being so dominant to win our group, we really want to put on a good showing in the knockout rounds as well. Because I don't know if I've mentioned, I'd quite like to win this competition this year. I don't know how realistic it is, but we're not. I mean, we're rarely going to have a better team than this at Norwich. If we have to go another year, I don't know. Part of me thinks if we win the Premier League again and fail in the Champions League again, and the Dortmund job comes up, maybe we go anyway. Maybe Dortmund are a team that's more likely to build a big enough project to win a Champions League with. Certainly, I mean, I know at Dortmund you do still have the fear that your best players are going to leave all the time, but probably less so than Norwich, surely. Delgado's been fouled here. This is hopefully going to be a penalty. The ref had his finger in his ear for a moment. Hopefully that moment was long enough for him to give the penalty. And the result is penalty awarded. Lovely old stuff. Delgado stepping up to take and fingers crossed put us ahead against Benfica. And he does. Very solid penalty from Delgado. I imagine people have questioned, I haven't seen it, but I imagine someone's questioned why I think he's a left footer when it shows him as either footed on his profile. That's why, because he takes his penalties left footed. But he is officially either footed. But, you know, if you take all your penalties left footed, you're not telling me you're either footed. You are a left footed man. And I mean, he is equally adept with both from his normal finishing. So I'll allow it. But he's left footed. I won't have him. But he's left handed. But he signed his contract left-handed. I won't hear otherwise. Goodness me. Right. Can we have another goal here? I feel like we need to exercise the demons of the last couple of games, but Benfica are through. But Noel and Hoyenhal, two of our real defensive heroes for so very long, two of our longest-serving players, have just had a little bit of a nightmare. I don't know how much we can blame Hoyenhal for either. I think a lot of this, unfortunately, is at it's Noel. Why is he playing it back to the keeper when he's got a defender, when he's got an attacker right on him like that, rather than just kicking it out for a throw or behind for a corner? He's chosen to play it to the goalkeeper, so that's a poor decision. But on top of the poor decision, because it's not like the keeper can pick it up, on top of the poor decision, he's then not hit it hard enough, so it doesn't even make it to the keeper. That's all on Noel. Hoyenhal has been left with no chance there. And as much as we've loved Noel over the years, he was our captain for a time, I think it's pretty clear from that why he doesn't start very often for us anymore. I thought Schultz was scoring a wonder goal there. You shouldn't be able to get yourselves into that kind of shape. His foot was level with his belly button there. It's absurd. The flexibility. It's like a normal human who's not broken like I am. Right, Janusek playing it across to Noel, and the move ends. Still 1-1. I mean, 1-1 away from home in a Champions League knockout round game. Never a bad result. But I do feel like we should be beating Benfica pretty comfortably. We've seen us comfortably beat Monaco and Milan and Besiktas. We should be able to beat Benfica. I don't think Benfica are a level above any of those, are they? Certainly not the likes of Milan. Right, Pedro Luis on the left-hand side. Lovely deep cross. Janusek nods it back across to Delgado, surely offside. I'm not even celebrating that one because it's pretty clear he was offside. The ref's having a look at it with his ear. He's having a listen to it. He's having a listen to the replay to see if he's offside. And yeah, as expected, the goal was disallowed. It was an interesting cross from Pedro Luiso. You don't really see a lot of that. But Janusek probably, I mean, I was going to say probably should head it across this way to where Schultz is completely unmarked. But even if he does, Delgado's still offside. I think Delgado was getting positioned, expecting, like we all were, that the original cross from Pedro Luis is going to be aimed at him, whereas he's chosen to go long and aim for Janusek. And I think the only chance we had of a goal there would be for Janusek to bring it down and have a shot rather than trying to head it back across goal. So not ideal, but at least we're creating chances still, which is nice. Benfica with the ball right at the start of the second half here. And there's a very fast car just gone past my house. Goodness me. That was was really loud. I don't know if you heard any of it. It was roaring past my house. And that's distracted me no end. Right. We are really struggling to get the ball down for a team that are usually so good at our pressing and winning the ball back in positions like this. Benfica are knocking the ball around us like they're us. This is going to be one of the great goals in the history of world football if they score here. I think every player in their team touched the ball, and then it's an own goal at the end of it. We're throwing it away. Yes, they played sensationally well in the build-up, but Hoyenhau must be just shaking his head at what's gone on in front of him today. Oh, dear me. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie me. We're demanding more. I don't know what's going on here. Our defenders are having an absolute nightmare. Now they've got a chance to redeem themselves from a corner. It's Fernandez, but his header goes over. This would be 3 games without a win in all competitions, which is, it's been a long time since we've gone 3 games without a win. Oh, the game, it really does like to just give you a little, oh, you're doing too well. Let me just quickly kick you in the nuts. Just to level things out a little bit. I don't want you getting too happy. Oh, I hear you're planning your next managerial move after you win the Champions League, are you? Let's deal with that. Having any of that nonsense. He thinks he's winning the Champions League. Did you hear him? No. No, he's not. He's going to finish 4th in the Premier League. He's getting knocked out of the Champions League by Benfica, and he needs to learn his lesson. What would Dortmund want with him, eh? This is what the game is saying. There's live coverage from the inside of Sports Interactive. Diaz with the free kick, and it's rubbish. I mean, it wasn't it? Are you here to argue with me? Of course it was rubbish. Oh, now Moura's injured, so that's another centre-back who's not going to be able to play in the second leg, probably. Delgado can't get his shot away. I don't understand. I do not understand how we have not won this match. Those 2 centre-backs, they're doing laps of the ground after this match, that's for sure. They're going to have to, they're buying the coffees at the airport on the way back. Just to check we were away from home. Yes, we have to go through an airport. Fernandez and Noll are buying everyone coffees. This is unacceptable. I assume footballers hit Starbucks at the airport on the way back. Would be weird not to, wouldn't it? What's happened? This has been a disaster. It was only a few days ago we scored like 30 goals in an episode. How has it come to this? We've got some work to do for tomorrow's video, boys and girls. Moura should be back at least. Oh, it's ages till then as well. Right, we can turn this around before the second leg. And that'll be coming up tomorrow. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.